in this case. And one way I would say I guarantee I'm listening to a very good English speaker is the fact that you use more details. So that's why I'm asking you to keep adding more details, layers plus layers plus layers, طبقات of details. That is going to help us reach to a very complicated level of English that will let people audience. Because at some point you'll speak in front of people, and at some point you'll speak English in front of people. Now, do you want to go and speak in front of people the casual English that just makes you no different from anybody else, or you're going to use the formal English that we talk about here?
I need formal English.
I understand that.
Yes.
And in order to do so, we just need to do a little bit of training on the aspects where your English can be better in 2 months.
Yes.
I mean, of course, when you take that job, we will continue practicing.
After that, I can, after 2 months,
Mm-hmm.
I can lead like like my jobs now.
Uh-huh.
In the beginning, I faced many issues about English,
Mm-hmm.
but now I have a full control about
English of your job.
exactly
Mm-hmm. But that does not.
target achievement or how
We'll talk about that here. But my point is this: at some point, you need to have very strong English skills that help you speak better and speak more formal, to have more vocabulary. So I need to take something useful from this conversation. Like, you're coming here, we're meeting. Why are we meeting today? We're meeting because we need to agree on certain rules we need to go through this coming 2 months.
yes.
So we take you from your current English level to the next level. And that includes a little bit of intensive conversations about variety of topics. Includes also giving you some tasks to do. That include probably reading some questions and trying to present them to me. I give you feedback. Most of the training that we do is I listen to you talk, and then I take notes and I give you feedback. I listen to you talk, I give you feedback, and that is how you progressively uh, climb up the ladder of improvement in your English skills, generally speaking. So, going back to my question, you said that you have managers who are not native speakers of Arabic; they are native speakers of English, and one of the job requirements is that you need to maintain good, efficient, and professional English conversations with them. Now, tell me about that more.
Didn't get it.
Tell me more about the fact that you're going to transition to work in another company, and this company has people who come from different countries around the world, and you need to speak English with them.
Yes.
At this point, what are you planning to do in 2 months in order to maximize the amount of skills in English that you have? What do you hope to do?
Frankly, I have no plan about
Mm-hmm.
English, but now I am reading some stories,
Mm-hmm.
watching videos, but plan I have no plan.
Mm-hmm.
So I contact you.
Mm-hmm. To have a plan for that.
Not help me,
Mm-hmm.
just have a plan, because you told me that
No, I can help you, of course. That's why we started working together, and my idea comes from the fact that I want to understand what you have in mind, so we can collaborate together to create some sort of training project. Collaborate, cooperate.
Corporate متعدد.
Yeah, to cooperate, to collaborate, تتعاون, to work together on a training model where we can take you from where you are right now to where you want to be. Now, do you have a person in mind that you like to speak just like him or her? Do you like a person you wish to speak English just like them? A model.
Model.
Who? عندك موديل شخص ببالك ممكن انجليزيتك تتمنى تكون نفس الليفل مالتك؟
ما يعني I don't have anyone because I am not following the model.
Not model يعني مو fashion. يعني
Right.
somebody like President Obama, for example, or Donald Trump, or one of the Hollywood actors like Leonardo DiCaprio. Somebody you just hope that you can get his level of English skills when they speak.
I watch to be like I saw some videos about Cristiano Ronaldo when he was talking about his life.
His English.
His life.
His life, okay.
When he's talking about his life. So I understand what he is, what was saying, what he was.
You understood?
Yes.
Okay, but we need to understand that Cristiano Ronaldo is not speaking English as his first language. I think he's speaking Portuguese, right? Brazilian?
Brazil, Portugal.
Portuguese. Okay. Now that's a different case. But my question is, do you have some, like, for example, maybe you're thinking of the CEO of Zen, Ali, as your model in terms of his skills of management and his vision and his ability to control the company as big as Zen. But that's a model for management. Now, for English, I don't know if it's your priority or something that you have been thinking a lot about. And the reason I'm asking this question is because I want to understand where you want to get in 2 months. Like, where do you hope to be in 2 months in terms of English? Like, give me, like, for example, I want to be speaking non-stop about my management skills. I want to be, like, you go to a restaurant and the waiter comes and asks you, what do you like to eat? And you would say, I want a cup of coffee, I want a glass of water, I want 2 hamburgers. So you tell him 3 or 4 things that you are really liking to do. Now, in terms of English, in 2 months, what do you want to achieve in 2 months? What's your target?
My target is achieving as the highest level of English.
But English English is a very broad word.
Management or negotiation, communication.
Now we're getting there. Now we're talking about English for negotiation, English for sales, English for marketing, and these are things that are relatively narrow than I want to be a professional English speaker. That's very big, you know? So now we have narrowed our research to
negotiation,
and sales and marketing
communication.
and com. Okay, that this sort of assessment. Do you know the word assessment?
Assessment مساعدة.
تقييم.
تقييم.
Now, this sort of assessment is going to narrow my research in the field of where I can help you with. So by the end, ultimately, finally, when we finish our classes, when we finish our training, you would say, well, we talked about negotiation, we talked about sales, we talked about marketing, we talked about communication. At least I have an idea in mind about the expected sort of questions that may come in our meetings with those managers. And at least I can talk freely, naturally, organically, with no interruptions like Zen's network, about any one of these topics. That is going to make my life easier, because once we start training about these sections, I will give you some tasks to do. Like, for example, moving to our major topic of discussion here. And I told you, this is very casual conversation. I just need to take notes. Like, I wouldn't be able to continue training unless I know your targets.
Yes.
Like in sales, for example, you wouldn't achieve any results. You wouldn't hit the objectives or targets if you don't know what the targets are.
Right.
That takes me to my next question. How do you keep up with your target market? Continue. تتماشى.
Yes.
How do you keep up with the target market? Like, market is changing every day. So you have a target today of, for example, 4G. Now the market is jumping into 5G.
Right.
So how do you keep up with this kind of target market? By the way, I'm not a specialist in communication or in telecom or anything. I'm just asking that kind of question to get you talk. So I'm dragging words out of your mouth as much as possible. That is going to help you improve your muscles to pronounce words naturally and in a better way, and become more expressive. يصير عندك إمكانية تعبير أكثر. So that's the purpose. So when I ask you, don't give me short answers. It's simply because I want you to speak more. I want you to control our conversation. You're a manager, so I think it's shameful, to say the least, that you're a manager and you don't have good English skills. So you just need to show the opposite.
Right.
By controlling conversation, that's going to give you some flexibility with doing negotiations. Eventually, like if you want to negotiate with a businessman, like
Right.
they haven't become a businessman if they don't have negotiation skills, you know? How do you keep up with your target?
As you know, now we are facing challenges in the market at all. Not about in 4G or but in dollars or others conditions. Okay, so that's make us to put weekly target. Okay, and every week, every end week, we sit on one table to review the achievement of the target. If everything is done, okay, let's go. But if we have challenges about the router, this is new product. We launch. We have launched.
Launch.
We launched.
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 Lunch is. Do you like some lunch? Launch.
Launched 1 week ago. 2 weeks ago. Sorry.
Okay.
So we on daily basis we have a new plan. So push more quantity into the market, or give a high commissions on
Low commissions.
high commission.
Okay. Why?
New activation to attract and to be attractive commission
To the agents.
to point of sales.
Okay. POC. POS.
POSs, to give them to the POSs to attract them to work with us.
But that, what you're doing, makes me feel that you're focusing more on POSs more than clients and customers.
Right,
Why?
because I am.
Don't you think that's a little bit
targeting
selfish?
the POSs. Why? In the end, the POSs was responsible about what they are selling. So you are as a customer, go to POSs and ask him, what about good internet?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Here, POSs,
The POSs.
the POSs, who will be responsible or push the customer to use Zain or us.
Okay.
Okay. In the end, control in their hand. If they get customer to Zain, how to attract viewers, to lead the customers to Zain.
Mm-hmm.
So by giving a high commission on new activation of my brand.
I totally understand. I'm just listening to get more details from you.
But before giving them a high commission, we need to direct يعني basic information or basic details of itself, like distribution. Okay, in the first step, we need to cover all POSs with our products to be available in the market. After that, we can search other ways to increase our activation.
Okay, what other ways do you think of? Give me 3 other ways you're searching for to increase the activation of the routers that you just mentioned here.
Make discounts on our products.
Uh-huh.
Number 1. Number 2, give high commission. Or give commission.
You focus on commission. Do you think it's important?
Very important for us.
Mm-hmm.
Because
Say significantly important. Significant is important. Significantly. Significant. It's a way, it's a trick. Hila. Instead of saying very, which is very cliche and common, you just need to use another word. Like it's a quite important. Quite, not quiet. Quite important. Instead of very. Very is very normal. Like it doesn't give me good quality English to my ears. Also, another comment that I do have here. Do you see these sound waves? Do you see them?
Yes.
There's this one, and there's this one. Now, this one is what you're talking about right now. You're just going through this soft, calm, no energy, maybe seem a little bit bored. يعني تشعر بالملل. But this one is more, there's more energy going on. Like what I'm doing right now. I'm just changing the tone of my voice. and just putting it up high and then just dropping it down, and that enables me to control your attention. Because essentially we talk because we want people to listen. Now, if we just use if we use poor techniques in conversation, we're not going to get enough attention. People are just going to play with their pens, drink coffee, just walk around, take a break, zone out, you know. They're not going to pay attention to what you're saying. So essentially, we need to get everybody's attention with what we are talking about. Like, for example, if I say, like, when I asked you, what are the 3 major tricks, strategies that you can come up with in addition to increasing the commission to the agents or POSs, you started thinking of 3 strategies. And that's because you were listening to me. And that's because I changed the tone of my voice. But if I say, like, do you have any other strategies? That's boring. So the idea that I want to say here, that keep your voice, even for the point of time you're talking with your audience, just keep your voice in control, raise it and lower it to get their attention. Focus on certain important words and don't say them in the same tone. Like, for example, today we're going to meet because we have very quiet, important target. Our target of today is, so you see, it's hitting a peak and then it's dropping down. It's hitting a peak and it's dropping down. Then, if we take the speech of Martin Luther King or Obama or Donald Trump or any one of the good English speakers, and we analyze it, we put it on a sound graph, we will notice that they focus on certain words and they use high level of sound to stress them out, and they drop the attention, they drop it down because that is where they're getting the attention, and they got enough training to do so. They haven't become good speakers unless they got some people to work with them. I need to shut up and keep asking you this kind of question. I have another question here. Explain how the router works.
Okay.
Yes, just explain it to me. I have a reason why I'm asking you this simple question.
Okay. Router is a device for 4G. It's working like a normal router as you use in home.
At home.
At home. Okay. So, but it has additional option like you can use it on everywhere. You can put it in your jacket or on pocket to go out of
out of your place.
Yes, it has a more flexibility from fixed device. Okay, and it is working on 4G, and it gives you speediest.
How do we say speedier? Speediest. Faster.
Faster, yes.
Faster.
Faster internet.
My next question. You have around 2 minutes to answer this kind of question. In your last position, how much time did you spend developing customer relationship?
How much?
How much time did you spend? Did you focus on customer relationship على قوي الزبائن? And how do you do so? شلون تسوي هاي relationship? very general question. You can talk about anything, nothing technical. Okay, just conversation.
About my work, right?
Yes.
Most customers, most customers I work with them,
Mm-hmm.
like POCs, the
Mm-hmm.
POCs. So I, I built
Mm-hmm.
I built a relationship with him by make him invest their money.
It's all about money. It's all about money.
Right.
Why? Why is
Because
it all about money?
relationship between me and the other customers depend on investment.
How do you define investment? How do you define investment?
Investment about education, okay, and most of POSs
Mm-hmm.
there are many types of POSs.
Mm-hmm.
High level, low level, mid level.
Mm-hmm.
I am focusing on the level, mid level,
And
and low level.
how do you choose your clients?
Clients depend on the area,
On the area.
on the area.
On the area. Control Shift Delete L. It's that. That. In your next job position and the next prospective company, how are you going to decide on the clients you're going to choose to do the investment? How do you like to go and choose the clients? On what basis? شلون تختار المستثمرين؟
مستثمرين بالnext
Next job.
I have no idea about that, but
That's a good answer.
right. But they need
Based on your experience, of course. I want you to answer this based on your experience. اعتمادا على تجربتك.
targeting. I am planning, okay, to reach the customers that have desire the residential complex.
Mm-hmm.
Why? Because this is my job, but
The ways.
how to attract that the new company
Mm-hmm.
it is responsible on to give me more details about that. And
Okay.
they told me they need to have 2 months of out of their life.
For your training?
Yes,
Where?
Dubai.
Now, how are you different from anybody else who's taking this job? What's your value to this company? قيمتك. What's your value as a manager to this company? What are you going to add to this company? Like, for example, I go and take this position. Not you, me. How am I going to be different, less or more, than your performance in this company?
As in yourself, the same. The every company, but target the different targets.
Mm-hmm.
So sales job depend on talents and achievement
Mm-hmm.
and give a training to new employee.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's why they need someone to be we cover this position.
So do you provide training to agents and
New employee
new employees?
has sales department depending on many units.
Mhm.
Okay? Many units are strategy, operation, logistics.
Mhm.
Okay, that's unit. Our salesmen.
What are your favorite questions to ask investors? What are your favorite questions to ask investors? Like I approach you and I say, well, I want to get an apartment in this complex. What kind of questions are you going to ask me? Generally speaking. صورة عامة. No questions? Do you believe that what role does social media play in selling process as a manager?
What
Social media.
is social media is very important as a promotion.
Quite important.
Quite important.
Mhm.
Quite important to promote on our products or our your products.
Uh-huh.
New new announcement
Mhm.
because everyone of us using Facebook or TikTok or Snap.
Mhm.
That's why around 70%
Of your right.
yes, it depends on like Facebook or TikTok,
Or YouTube, maybe?
YouTube.
Okay. Now, when we talk and we want to be sounding more convincing, there is a difference between saying a statement and saying an opinion. Now, the difference between saying a statement and saying an opinion is in the details, the level of details. When we say an opinion, this opinion is usually our own feeling regarding a cup of coffee, for example. I like it, that's my opinion. But if I say, I do believe that this cup of coffee is really good, based on the fact that it tastes well. It's brought from very authentic and original sources in Turkey, and it is manufactured in a good device. So I'm giving a statement here. I'm giving evidence. So the difference between normal speakers and good speakers is that normal speakers say their opinions with no evidence, while good speakers try to add as many pieces of evidence as possible to their conversation to make it more acceptable and believable. And that's where good speakers excel. يتميزون. They excel in the fact that they bring all sorts of evidence. Usually, there are three types of evidence that they bring in their conversation. It's not evidence as much as it's techniques and strategies. First one is logic. So they use logic. They ask people like, use your mind. We are better. And the second one is passion. They control feelings. And the third one is called ethos. And ethos is the general market. Like, this is 5G. The world is on 5G. Why do we go for 4G? Our company is working on 5G. So you should come to our company because we have a vision for future. Now, this is some sort of evidence technique that just helps people believe in what you're saying. So let me recap. The good speaker uses evidence in their statements. The normal speakers, not the bad speakers, they just say their opinion. I like it, I don't like it. I like it because it just makes me feel happy. So when you speak in front of people. You just need to be more evidence-based speaker, like based on this study, based on our survey, based on the questionnaire, based on our experience. Use this sort of style that is going to help you much better over the course of time to improve your skills. Now, that leads me to my next question here. What kind of challenges do you have, and how do you overcome these challenges in your current position? You mentioned the drop of the value of Iraqi dinars to dollars, and other challenges that you have. So my question is, what kind of challenges do you have right now in your current position, and how do you overcome this sort of challenges? As an example, the drop of the value of Iraqi dinar.
Well, I exceed this challenge because our dealing depend on Iraqi dinar, not dollars. Okay, but this affect negatively on the market. So, and more of people feeling here about
Afraid, hesitant,
yes. Afraid about the money
to invest.
No, not this, because most of people, employees, depend on their salary. In the last 2 months, the government
Did not pay.
their salary. That's why the people saving their salary, okay, to next month. That's effect on our sales because the people didn't know what is coming for them. Okay, number one. Number two, they challenge other operator push their device, okay, lower than to market.
More or less?
No, less than us.
Give me more details. Like, for example, Asia Cell.
Okay. The price of Zen device is 79,000. Okay, but the price of us is 50,000.
Okay.
So they pushed their device into the market. But
what kind of device are you talking about here? The router?
Okay.
But does it have the same? Does it have the same quality? Does it have the same efficiency? Does it have the same flexibility in use?
Yes. No.
They are different.
Yes, they are different. Their device made in Chinese, but our device American.
Okay. American one that is
Canada.
manufactured in China.
Yes. Different
manufacturers,
yes.
But different quality.
Yes. And there is capacity of
the capacity, the milliampere.
The capacity of battery.
1,000 milliampere.
500 about ICC device, but ours 2,000. Different
capacity.
The different capacity between the device. So we had to explain this and clear this items to POS
Mm-hmm.
to
You mentioned something about weekly targets. Tell me about that.
the targets. Our target, or my targets, is about voucher, sale, okay,
Mm-hmm.
or router. So we have a monthly target, but we divided it into four parts, weekly parts or weekly target.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we can we put weekly target on Saturday and review it on Thursday.
What do you normally do when you don't achieve the target by Thursday? Don't give me short answers.
I review our faults, okay, and
You mean your mistakes?
mistakes,
Uh-huh.
and
Do you keep making
share it.
mistakes?
Share it with my team
Mm-hmm.
to explain how to exceed this mistakes, okay,
To overcome,
to overcome
to exceed this, to do
Exceed.
more mistakes. Mm-hmm.
So we sit on one table and share our ideas about this, and we agreed on one of these to go.
One of the solutions.
Yes.
Now, let me pause. Let me stop here and ask you another question that is sort of relevant here. What is the most challenging problem that you had in your career working with Zen?
Challenging.
أكثر واحدة بيها تحدي كانت. And how did you overcome this?
Unlimited internet.
Unlimited?
Yes. As you know, the first of 2021,
Mm-hmm.
we stopped unlimited internet. Okay, but our activation is depend on around 60%, 100%.
Mm-hmm.
Depend on
Unlimited.
unlimited internet. So we drop our
The quality.
we drop the activation from 30,000 to around 20,000.
Okay.
Drop it. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And after that we have an aggressive plan to
I like that word, aggressive. Mm-hmm.
aggressive plan to reach a normal target.
Mm-hmm.
Like
What's the normal target?
normal target 3,000.
3,000.
30,000
30
on 30,000 on
per month.
Per month, yes. So
But don't you think that's a lot of money for a regular client?
30,000 as a new activation.
Okay.
Okay, not bad.
Okay. Because I couldn't get that clearly explained by you.
Same target of as a Safa, 30,000. Okay, on per month.
Okay.
Okay. When we launched with the unlimited, we stopped unlimited internet.
Mm-hmm.
We had many issues or many problems about this challenge, or about these changes from unlimited to limit 4G.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Do you face any competition from other companies, and how do you deal with that?
Competition, yes, they like the aggressive competition
Mm-hmm.
the market. Like they have three competition, daily, weekly, one.
Mm-hmm.
Daily 1 million for 5% or five winners. Weekly 2 million for 20 winners.
Mm-hmm.
Monthly 3 million for 8 winners. So that's make a gap between us and them.
How do you deal with this gap if it becomes very broad?
Uh, we had a meeting with the management and we decided to go with the two competition.
Okay, and
Two competition أفضل منهم.
better than that.
Better than it.
How do you research for new ideas to bring more clients? Do you have a think tank? We call it think tank group.
I'm talking to you frankly. We divided the country to three parts. No,
Oh,
Asia.
okay.
Every one of them have a piece of cake.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, us
Equally,
not equally. Then 40,
5%.
45%. I say 45%. Correct? Yes.
But do you want to balance that, or there's always
Yes,
this?
yes, yes. We have a report for that.
No, is there a protocol that you should keep this piece of cake equal,
Yes.
or there is a space for it?
Everyone saying on their customers
Mm-hmm.
per each region
Mm-hmm.
to show if it's losing or getting. Okay, I have voucher 1 million on WhatsApp.
1 million muscle.
1 million.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I see this million on per month.
Mm-hmm.
If
What's the percentage that drops, that takes your attention? Like, what is the percentage that? Huh?
top up charging.
No, I'm not talking about top up. I'm talking about out of 1 million clients. If you see a drop in 10 users, that's not a big deal.
10 users not
What-
affect on our
what-
target.
What is the percentage that affects your target? 20, 100, 1,000,
No,
100,000?
5% of total target.
Okay, so that's 50,000.
Five
5,000 or 50
5%
of the 1 million.
of yes, 5%. I could 50,000, right?
Okay. Now, in your next job, you're going to take a very important position to be a sales manager. What is your preparation to this job?
Operation.
تحضيرات. You said that you're going to go to Dubai for training. You're going to get some training benefits from there. But coming back here, how are you going to do the sales and marketing position? What are you going to do in this position?
As a sales manager, we have to create a new team.
Mm-hmm. How do you create a new team?
Creating a new team depends on units. Okay. We have at least 3 units. Sales, number 1 salesman, number 2 operation, number 3 logistic. Salesman promote on our options or our products.
Did you already choose the people who are going to work in this team?
Yes.
How many?
This is a strategy. Strategy, as usual, depends on vision.
Okay, so tell me
No,
about.
I have no vision about it.
And if you don't have vision, you don't have strategy.
Yes.
Now, if you have a strategy, what is your expansion strategy for 2021?
Strategy depends on the vision. Okay. No vision, no strategy.
What's your vision?
Now I have no idea.
What do you like your vision to be? Get every rich man in Baghdad to get a company, an apartment in there? How much is it? How much is the apartment? The cheapest.
Starting from just
100?
100,000 and
Dollars.
Yes.
Okay.
Till 250,000.
Okay. So. And who's the general manager of this company? Who is the manager, like the big head of this company?
Head from Dubai. His name is Faisal.
And how did they choose you? Why did they choose you? Why did they choose you as a sales marketing manager?
I know someone working with Faster company. Previously, they interviewed him to be account manager,
And he knows you.
And they asked him about a sales manager, but one of their condition, he's working at international company.
And Zen is an international company.
Yes.
Okay. What has Zen added to you as a sales manager? What has Zen added to you in your current position? شو اللي أضافت لك? Frankly speaking.
Frankly, before working with Zain, I was working with my father.
Where?
In the factory of I have my father has
Factory.
Factory of Azizia.
For?
Tahini. Okay.
For flour.
For flour. Yes. After that, I worked
Why?
Car trading.
Car what?
Trading. Okay.
Trading.
Trading.
Car trading. Here in auction for cars. Auction. يعني معرض.
Yes. I had question.
Auction.
Auction of cars.
Mm-hmm.
باللغة.
Okay.
Okay. After this work, when I am
it's a dealer. It's a kind of dealership, or we call it dealership, or car dealership, or if you do auctions for cars and car dealership. Dealership يعني المعرض. So you moved from flower to car dealerships, and now you started studying.
Studying civil engineer.
Okay, engineering.
Engineering.
Okay, and why did you switch from multiple jobs?
Factory with
And the factory and the
dealership.
Mhm.
When I was studying.
Okay.
After that, I worked with my company to مقاولات.
Contractors.
Contraction.
Contraction. Mm-hmm.
Contraction. Okay.
Contracts.
Contract. For 4 years. From
What is the biggest project that you did?
Factory FAO Carbonate.
Okay.
Yes, I since I handled
The
the
okay, asphalt.
yes, asphalt.
Pavements. Mm-hmm. Keep going.
From 2008 till 2012.
Mm-hmm.
Before, after that, I worked with Zayn.
Okay.
2015.
And which one of these experiences or life stations was the most important to you? That just changed you completely,
Zayn.
positively or negatively? How did they change you as a person?
When you enter the international company,
Mm-hmm.
you will have a good experience, good treatment with not working solution.
In isolation. In isolation. In isolation. يعني ما تشتغل بمفردة.
Yes.
In isolation. Mm-hmm. Isolate, isolators, isolation. Mm-hmm.
They gave me a more passion.
Passion.
Yes.
They give you more drive to carry on, to pursue.
To treat every issues
Mm-hmm.
or every problem that I was facing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, not just work. General life.
In general. Okay, and now you've worked with Zen for a number of years. What made you switch if you're feeling very comfortable with them at this point?
Frankly, I need a new challenge.
Oh, okay, that's very, very interesting.
Yes.
Because if without, there's this saying in English that what challenges you changes you.
Different challenge.
Yeah, what challenges you changes you. اللي يتحداك يغيرك. Yeah, so is this the reason why you're searching for challenges, or?
Yes, as you know, I am university.
University. By the way, the word school is for any school, even university or college. Like if I ask you, what school did you go to? You would say, for example, College of Law. College of Law in English is a school. School is a place for education.
Yes.
Now, I would considerably think of you as an adult who just went to adult school. You didn't, of course, go to children's school because this is not your... unless you quit studying at early stages. That leads me to my next question is, tell me about sales and logistics. Why are they important for sales and marketing? I'm sorry, operations and logistics, not sales. Operations and logistics, how are they contributing to effective marketing and sales?
Operation or logistics?
Operations and logistics.
Yes.
Why are they important for sales and marketing?
Because operation and logistics are tools to finalize or to close every project.
Mm-hmm.
No project without operation. No project without logistics.
I want you to give me more details. Don't give me short answers. And I'm essentially trying to, leave this meeting with the idea in mind that whatever you say, you should give me some examples for. Now, that is in English what we call pie. Pie, فطير. Point, illustrate, example. Point, illustrate, example. Explain. Well, we call it pie. It's the pie that you talked about. It's P, I, and E. For any effective manager, they need to master how they point to a problem, explain it, and give examples. It's what we call pie. So that is different from opinionated speaking. يعني كلام مستند على الopinion. Opinionated statement. They just have no evidence, they have no value, they are just personal observation. They're not relevant. ما لهم علاقة بالارتباط بالحياة. They're just opinions. Maybe some of them are immature opinions. مناضجة. But effective managers go through this wheel, this pie, every time they deliver a speech. Like if you listen to any politician who's not Iraqi, of course, English, British, American, Canadian, Justin Trudeau, for example, of Canada, they point in their statement. So the president, in his statement, they said statement because he is affirming on certain pressing issues. يعني قضايا حرجة, pressing. We can pressing issues, قضايا حرجة, pressing issues, critical issues, vital issues. They illustrate the problem because of 1, 2, and 3 reasons, and they give examples like what happened in Basra last time, what happened in whatever. Okay, so that's the case here. You just need to keep that in mind. So when I'm asking you general questions, that's just because I want you to evidence them with sufficient data so they become legible, believable, acceptable by audience. And one of the key features of successful sales and marketing managers is that they master this pie effectively. Going back, logistics and operations, how are they useful? Very general answer.
Okay. Operation different.
Is different?
Yes. Okay. So operation. Every project need to be operate with the items or their contracts. Okay. So the operation will.
And مو will الغيها will يعني هذه هواية من اللي في شركة زين عندهم هاي الحالة إنه يستخدمون هواي terms بالإنجليزي بس يستخدم وياها أدوات العطف العربية مثلا وال and
operation
lead okay
lead the properties
هذا
communication between sales
between sales or between the sales بس مو between sales هذه يعني دائما بنستخدمها It's a combination of two languages.
Yes.
It's a bastard of languages. It's not like English. It's not Arabic. You know. Keep going.
Need the contracts or
Is it important?
contact. No. Contact between the sales and
Between these sales,
between the sales
it comes by
with
practice.
with the other departments,
Mhm.
like
Like the
like the contracts,
Uh-huh.
supply, financial, finance,
Mhm.
HR, all these departments aligned with the operation,
are aligned.
are aligned with operation.
I'm just taking a few notes about what you're saying because when you make this sort of, I mean, it's a very little mistake, but we need to fix it.
Yes.
Like, for example, whatever you said here, I'm just taking notes of it. So I prepare some materials to help you work together on fixing that here. And this is how we go about it. Like our training is this way. I listen to you talk as much as possible because when you speak more, I notice where the weaknesses are generally. Like I'm trying as much as possible for almost 1 hour, drag as much speech out of your mouth because that is going to give me a better picture of who you are as an English speaker. I ask you so many questions, like I have a list of questions about sales and marketing.
Ouch.
And I want you to speak about all of them. I'm also taking secondary list of questions because I want you to give me more speech, like for hours and hours and hours. That is what going to give us better picture of your English and also a better picture for me to fix where the weaknesses are. Generally, describe your ideal sales manager. Ideal المثالي. Describe your ideal sales manager. Now, why do I focus on description? واحدة من أهم خواص المتحدث باللغة الإنجليزية هو قابليته على وصف الشيء بدقة. That's why I always say, don't give me short answers, give me details. Focus on details, focus on description. أهم ميزة يعني بالإداري الناجح أو بالشخص المتحدث الناجح هو إمكانيته على إضافة description للحالة for the case. So if you are able to describe everything in details, you're going to speak so much better. In order to become a good descriptor of things, you need to learn more vocabulary, but not any vocabulary. Adjectives. Adjectives, verbs, nouns. So instead of saying he walks, you say he heavily walks. He stumbles slowly. Okay, so you just add a different, higher level of description to the image because we think of pictures. We don't think of words. We speak words, but we think of pictures. What's your favorite car? Lexus. So Lexus is not written in your mind. There's an image of black or white Lexus in your mind. And when I asked you that question, you just went to your memory. You looked at a picture of a Lexus and you said it to me. You said it to me as a form of a word, but in your mind it's saved as an image. So we think of images, and images normally have colors. They are not black and white images, unless they are old, or your memory is old, or you haven't upgraded to 4G so far. So the idea is that we think of colorful images. So if you are an effective speaker, you describe this image to people. And one way we describe
the image in my eye.
I always tell my students, before you speak, imagine yourself as a painter. because you paint what you say in people's mind.
Yes.
So whatever and how many colors you add, the better picture they will have about you. So the impression you get about people is because of the kind of details they tell you about uh, their life or their experiences or their job. That's why I'm going back here. Describe it, your ideal sales manager. I'm focusing on this question particularly because I will check, I will run a diagnosis of your English and see where your weaknesses are, and we train you on your weaknesses so you become better. As simple as that. What's your ideal manager? رجل يعني مدير المبيعات المثالي. How do you describe it? Like he's somebody who's, let me give you a model answer. My ideal English teacher is somebody who's a human. He's not a tool. He's not teaching grammar. He teaches people how to talk and understand each other. He has good character. He's friendly. He's smiling. He controls his voice naturally. He focuses on how people understand him more than people who respect him. Understanding is the ultimate message of a good English speaker and good English teacher. What's your ideal sales manager?
My ideal.
أنا تقييمي لحد هسه 5 من 10 للأنسرز مالتك.
زين.
Okay?
English?
English.
Yes.
No, I'm not talking about, I'm talking about English. So we need to raise this target, maybe 8.5.
So I understand what you are saying.
Mhm.
But
Are you tired?
no. That. I understand what I am.
What you say?
Yes, what I am facing or objective, but I cannot.
You can.
Right, you can. But now I cannot say this.
But this is my job.
Right.
This is my job. This is why you called me.
Right.
My job actually is to help you move from 5 to 8.5. And how can we do this? There is a test. We're not going to take this test now because we have already started training this session. But the point is, we just need to put things in numbers so we can.
If you put a selection words, I can select it.
It's I mean, I totally understand that, but I want it to come naturally and organically from you. And we have been talking, and part of our conversation is to help your subconscious mind speak as much as possible. Once your mind starts speaking more, your mind is going to need fuel, وقود, which is vocabulary. So you need to recycle. And that is a process of activation. That takes around a week, 10 days, 15 days. If we keep pushing hard on you, you're going to be able to do so effectively within 21 days. But we need to do this every day for 21 days. Because, yes, this is the minimal amount of habit change routine. If you want to speak more effectively, you just need to practice 1 hour for 21 days. That is going to break the bad habit of not being able to speak what you have in mind. The other way is to think of options. Like, we are not translators. So when we speak, the goal, the objective, the target of speaking is to help people understand us. So if we use complicated words, people are not going to understand. Why do we use complicated words? Because we want people to feel that we are smart. And that is wrong. We need to have people understand what we have, not have people understand that we are smart, because we are fake, we are not smart. We just need them to understand. And in order to have them understand, Do not translate in your mind every word from Arabic to English, but ask yourself, how do they say it in English? And think of options. Like instead of saying, I want to cross the road, you can say, I want to get there. I want to be there. I want to walk across the road. I want to jump to the other side. I want to transfer myself to the other side. There are a million of options that you can use to say your idea in a way that you understand me or I understand you. But if you try to, people often get stuck in trying to translate every single word from Arabic to English or from English to Arabic. And that's going to slow them down. When they are slower than normal English, they will feel shy. When they feel shy, they stop talking. Or they will say, I can't speak. And this is psychology. This is not language. It's the pressure of being embarrassed or shy. So we are dealing with psychological target, not language-related target. But this is not your case because you're an adult, you know how you speak, you just need some little makeup here and there for your language to become so much better. Yeah, that's the point that I wanted to say here. So by keeping practicing, choosing materials for sales and marketing, trying to push you from 0.5 to 8.5 out of 10, we can reach some good targets in 2 months. Any comments?